Well, good afternoon. It's Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker, and today is October the 16th, 2025. It's a Thursday at approximately 13:40. That would be 1:40 p.m. Central Time. And I'm coming to you today from Harvey, Louisiana, which is just right across the Mississippi River from the south side of New Orleans. And I dare say probably not more than just a couple, 3 miles from downtown. A little more than that because my wife's work is right on the river and she's on the south side. And so we're here on a business trip for my wife. We're at the Holiday Inn Express in Harvey, Louisiana. And she's doing her thing with her job and I'm watching TV and trying to get a horrible bed. Did not sleep well last night. Holiday Inn Express usually has very comfortable rooms. This bed doesn't have the plush pillow top mattress. It's just a mattress. They didn't give me enough pillows. And so did not sleep well. You may recall all of those times that I was broke down and spent nights in a Holiday Inn Express hotel in Midland, Texas, in Jacksonville, Florida, and up in Kansas. And so I've had a very good experience with Holiday Inn Express, but not this one in Harvey, Louisiana. So we'll see what we can do about that. Not much. Anyway, so let's introduce the equipment for today. And I have a few comments to make about the last video and then not a whole lot. We're going to shave. That's all. We're just going to shave. So today's razor is stylistically, it's one of my favorite. It's the Wacker Jungmeister German razor, beautiful 7/8. It's got the Spanish styled point on it. It's got some nice gold there. Maybe that helps. It's a Wacker, as I say. A lot of people kind of hesitate and balk at the Wackers because of where the pin placement. A lot of people think it ought to be just a little lower down on the scales there, but just look at these scales. They are just absolutely gorgeous. Honey, blonde, horn, just fabulous. And this was honed up, and it's not had but maybe one, maybe two refreshes in the last, I'm going to say, 5 years, 6 years. But it comes up 4 or 5 times a year. I shave with it once or twice and back into the rotation it goes. And so that's kind of what we were just kind of at that stage where I am, because I've got more time and I'm at home and call myself retired, that I have the time to do these refreshes like you saw me do, or I told you about, with the Dovo Fokker bite. And that last shave was as good, by the way, 48 hours, 2 days worth, for about 50 hours or so of whiskers on my face. But we should have a very good shave with this, and if not, we'll do a refresh on it and get it on down the line, get it back into rotation is what I mean to say. And so the brush today I brought with me on the trip is the Plasan number 20 30 millimeter High Mountain White Badger, and appreciated what Martin had to say about his Badger. He's starting to use Badgers more. I'm not a synthetic guy, never have. I think For me, now this is me talking, synthetics betray the nostalgic heritage of straight razor shaving. It's one of the reasons why I was perturbed at Dovo on the Fokker bike, because they missed a golden opportunity with those stainless steel blanks from the late 60s to early 70s to do something really nostalgic, traditional, creative in a very elegant sense. And instead they come out with snake scales. And I'll say something else too. The satin finish, kind of a brush satin finish on the stainless steel, on the shank, not elegant. And as I said in my previous video, there is a mindset in today's world, and you see it with a lot of razor makers, and I don't know what it is about this generation. They tend toward the barbaric, is the way I'll call it, the untraditional, the modernistic, and I don't like it. Don't like it at all, especially when you have something in hand that, in my mind, is as precious as those blanks were, what they could have done with it. Well, the synthetic brushes play into that same vein of thinking, in my opinion. And so now you can have Badger brushes that have wild design handles that fall into that same barbaric, untraditional way of thinking. That's why I like this so much. It's a horn. Now, yes, this is a very expensive brush, but everything about this speaks elegance. Of course, the price tag on it too kind of speaks like, hey, we intend that this should be exclusive. Anyway, that's that. All right, and then the soap that I brought with me on this trip is the Sterling Soap Company Bergamot Lavender. And this is just absolutely superlative scent. A word about Sterling Soap Company: I have touted their boar bristle brush. Let's go ahead and get started on the lathering. The brush that is made by Zenith, and they have two sizes, 31 millimeter and I believe the 28 millimeter. They did bump the price. It's either $52 or $54 now for the 31 millimeter, and for the 28 millimeter, I think it is 48. Yes, I do believe. Anyway. There was a release yesterday of an email advertisement release that they are back in stock, back in supply. They're getting ready for Black Friday in November and the holiday season coming up. I got it this little early in the season, if you ask me. And so it makes me wonder if they've had the last 2 years, they've had such a good run on them that they made extra to start their sale early. So get yours while they last. And as far as, all of the other guys that make a boar bristle brush, give it a Smogue. I'm not going to embarrass people, but those other companies that make, unless you're making one that's as big as stuffed with bristles as the Zenith brush, you're not making you're making a toy. You're making something that's forget about it. Throw it away, start over, and come out with something that is hefty, that is manly, that after a few uses doesn't turn into a bird's nest. And just let me say too, yes, a boar bristle brush does take a little bit of breaking in. What you're looking for are the ends of the bristles to split, which is kind of an interesting thing to watch happen. But let me just say that it don't take long, and to use that as an argument for maybe not using a boar bristle or not buying a boar bristle, or that boar bristle, those boar bristle, the Zenith boar bristle brushes, doesn't stand up, because it still works admirably in the break-in period. I had a shower, and so this is a little bit redundant on what I'm doing here, but I like massaging my face with the lather. My wife's place is where she come to visit, the company location is about 3 miles from the hotel here, so it's not far at all. And then tonight, we got here last night. We had a little car trouble on the way, but we got it all squared away this morning. At minimal discomfort and no expense to us. So that we drove our own personal vehicle, and we had a flat tire, or we battled a flat tire. It kept losing air all the way from Houston, north of Houston, to this location, but we stopped 3 or 4 times to fill it up with air. Then we got a can of Fix-A-Flat, and that held for a good while overnight till we got here, and held overnight so she could get to work. Although the pressure was down this morning, very low, less than 20 pounds PSI. All right, let's get on. All right, now let's get on. Here we go. Youngmeister Whacker 7/8, 30,000 Chaplin glass edge. And so we came through, we came down 59, US 59 out of Livingston on Alaska, where we live, and come down 59 to Houston, picked up I-10, came across all the way Beaumont, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Oh, yeah, yeah. That feels like a 30,000 should. And it's smooth and comfortable too, versus the Fucker bike. I don't know if you can hear the sound, but I'm getting feedback off of the razor, and it sounds just wonderful. So I was in touch with my neighbor this morning, and the wildfire has remained calm and under some level of control overnight. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the weekend. Or I should say through the weekend. Yeah, I'm always very cautious around this chin. I've cut myself so many times on the chin. I'm surprised it hasn't remodeled the landscape. The other thing I wanted to say about yesterday's drive was that we came through Eric, the Cajun Blade. We came through his neck of the woods, or near it, on I-10. What's the name of that exit? Iona? I know it's there by the, or Iota, something like that, sorry. By the Petro's truck stop at that exit. And he lives somewhere north of there. There was a word I intended to use in the last video as I was talking about the honing sessions on my Fokker bike as a honing lesson, and that is persistence. I went back to the stones 3 times to get that edge that I eventually settled on, that I eventually obtained. But each adventure into honing is a adventure in what am I going to settle for? We set out to do a very good job. We don't set out to do a less than very good job. And so as we progress along, as we persist along, we come to a point and say, yeah, that's good enough. And we use the microscopes and the jeweler's loops, and we use all the different tools that are available to us to look at the quality of the edge that we're developing, and we say, yeah, that's it. Because you get to a point where you don't want to ruin what you've already started. You don't want to take off more metal from the blade than what is absolutely necessary, and that's really, in my opinion, that's kind of one of the goals in the back of your mind is get a good sharp edge, follow the customary rules, and don't take off any more metal than what you absolutely have to. That's one of the reasons why beginners have such a light touch and they get so befuddled about how much pressure to use, and they end up using, especially at the early stages of setting the bevel and getting that flat plane from the spine to the apex, is at the on the whatever you're using, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, maybe a 500, you're not using enough pressure to achieve that flat plane. And I've heard so many honers, people who hone razors and people commenting saying that the bevel is achieved in the early stages. With the first stone, the second stone, somewhere for me, it's rarely do I go back to the Shapton Glass 500 grit. Sometimes, if I'm especially on a problem child edge or blade, but certainly the 1000, maybe the 2000, between those two stones, I'm getting the bevel set. Once the bevel is set, all you should have to do is refine it, refresh it from time to time. So they say. So the wife and I tonight are going down to Bourbon Street. We've got a restaurant picked out that we're going to go visit and have something to eat and enjoy the New Orleans Bourbon Street ambiance. Yep, feeling pretty good. Well, when I get done with my shave, I'm gonna lay down and take a nap and wait for my wife to come in from work. Got a little bit of lather right there. coming along nicely. All right, let's rinse her off and do some final strokes on the face shave and move on to the head shave. And Oh, that's just as smooth as you could want. That's baby butt smooth if there ever was one. All right, let's move to the head shave because that is clearly done. Done. All right, we're gonna change razors too. We're not gonna use the whacker for the head shave. We'll use a gold dollar that 2017, kind of looks like a Sheffield, but it's a gold dollar 2017, honed on the Zulu gray. And it's always given me a good head shave. When I was still using the gold dollars for the face shave, that was this 2017 Shave Club, Gold Dollar Shave Club, gave me some problem. I couldn't get it just right where I wanted it for the face shave, but it did fantastic for the head shave. Now, explain that to me. And so I tried to work it. But that was also about the time I was getting enough razors in my new production or quality production, vintage and so forth, that I just said, you know what? It's about time for the gold dollars to take a back seat. And, you know, because I've got quite a number, as you already know, I've got quite a number of razors, 60, 70 razors, and they're all honed up to shave ready condition, and I use them all in rotation. Some I might use more than others, but generally I use them about the same in rotation. And that makes it easier for me to try and remember, or not to have to remember, is just use them in rotation as they come up. yeah, that feels real good. I just set the brush to soaking in the sink because I'm done with it, done with the head shave. And let's do the back of the neck and we will call it quits. All right, let's rinse it down and all right, we got the alum block going here. Very mild sting. All right. No significant nicks or cuts, certainly no lingering blood. And we've done the alum block, and we have done the head shave and the face shave, and I'll get the video put together here and uploaded to YouTube this afternoon in between cat naps. And the last remaining touch, I'm going to put on some Whiskey Woods. Okay, that feels good. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you for staying with me. And we've got one more shave from the road. Today's, what is today? Thursday, Friday. We'll do a shave on Saturday, and we'll be home sometime on Sunday. So thanks for staying with me, and I'll see you down the road.